Hello, this is Johanna Wise, and I am excited today to be speaking with Gary and Victoria Buckmann. They are a couple that are just two of the highest achieving individuals I have ever met, and I know their story is going to be so inspirational to you. They have shared with me a workshop that they are doing called Go for the Gold Goal Setting. Be the high performer you know you can be. And Victoria and Gary, tell us a little bit about your journey to getting to be such high performers.
Well, I was a competitive gymnast in college, and I used goal setting in my athletic career. And then I transferred those skills into creating the job of my dreams, which was a coaching job in the private sector. And I also use that same process to heal myself from being paralyzed from a catastrophic injury.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about that, Gary.
Well, one day at practice, I made a snap decision in the middle of the vaulting event to kick out of a skill, thinking it was a good idea to save myself from a crash landing. Well, the next thing I knew, I was about 1.5 feet off the floor going head first from 8.5 feet in the air. And I didn't even have time to get my hands up, and I smacked square on my head, knocked me completely out. And when I regained consciousness, my neck was broken and I was paralyzed.
Oh my. I mean, that's a life-changing event. Yikes. And what were you doing what did you do after that? I mean, was the prognosis good or?
No, in fact, the experts at that time told me that I wasn't going to recover, that I was going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. And I made a decision again, said, no, that's not the plan. That's not what I want for my life. And so I actually set goals for myself to heal myself.
Wow, what an incredible story, Gary. And Victoria, tell us a little bit about your journey.
My journey is, I was a single mom who needed to support a child, and I wanted to have work that I loved. And even though we didn't know each other at the time, we both used the exact same formula to create what it was that I wanted. And I worked for the phone company in sales, which is my forte, and in a job that should have been making $50,000 a year when you hit 100% of quota.
Right.
I was at 1,000% of quota month after month for 13 years, and I made $250,000.
Wow. Well, clearly both of you are highly successful individuals, and it's interesting that both of you attribute that to goal setting. Why don't you share with us a couple of nuggets that you know will help our listeners either today or over the next few days with their goal setting and success in their career transitions?
I would say the first thing is when we think of goal setting, we think of January, we think of writing down some goals. Maybe we never even looked at it for the rest of the year. Goal setting, the way that we teach goal setting, it's almost like a manifestation process. It's something that you do every day to reach the goals that you want to reach, whether they're huge and they're for a year or a lifetime, or if they are the goals that you want to do for the day. And
you're talking about an ongoing process rather than a one-off.
It is an ongoing process, and it's a skill. It's a skill that can be learned, and the formula that we have, it's a simple 5-step process that we can take them through. It is proven to work.
Gary, why don't you tell us about one of those steps?
All right, well, I will just start with the first one, and that is clarity. You want to be crystal clear on what your vision or goal is, because that's the foundational step that will allow you to do everything necessary to gain your goals. We are a target-oriented species, and without a clear vision, we might not take the first step to even attain our goals.
And sometimes that's hard for people, right?
Yes, it is. It is hard for people.
Don't you
And
have
how does somebody gain clarity? I mean, let's roll that back a little bit.
Yeah, well, one of the simplest ways is, I know from experience that when somebody comes up and says, hey, Gary, what do you really want in your life? And I have to stop and ponder and think. And then it's like, what don't I like? If somebody says, hey, what don't you like? I can snap it off the top of my head. So what I do is I go to the other end of the spectrum. I figure out what I don't want. And then at the other end is what actually I do want. And that can help you gain clarity in a very simple way.
You know, Gary, that is so true. We all know what we don't want because that's a visceral emotional reaction. We've been there, it's painful, we don't want to be there. And so often we wallow in that. So it's so important to then have a direction, right? If you think about what you don't want, that creates a void. But where are you heading? I love you say, you know, figure out where you do want to go, and then you can get some directionality. And then it's a matter probably of listing tasks and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Nice, nice. You know, I have to tell you, I worked with one stay-at-home mom who said, I have done so much for my family and my community for so many years. I do not even know what my favorite color is anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
It is important to dig deep and really figure out what's important to you, your values, your choices, your direction, because it's probably been a very long time since someone has asked you that.
Yes. Very good point. Yes.
Nice, nice. Anything else you'd like to share with our audience today?
Well, just to the point that you were saying, what I like to do with our clients is I'll have them draw a circle on a piece of paper, and then I'll have them draw another circle on a piece of paper, and they overlap a little bit in the middle. And if you start on one side and you write down, what am I great at? What am I good at? What am I great at? It doesn't matter if you really like doing it, but you know you're a natural at it. And you get a list of things that you're good or you're great at. Then you go over to the other circle, to the other end of the spectrum. What do I love to do? What do I love? What do I like to do? What makes my heart sing? What makes me feel good? What comes natural and it's fun for me? And then right in the middle where they overlap, write the things that, what am I good at? What am I great at? And what do I love?
Yeah, nice.
And it's an ongoing process. You know, you can sit down and do it for 20 minutes, or you might spend 20 minutes 3 days in a row.
Yep.
And right in the middle is this sweet spot of all the things that you're good at, all the things that you're great at, and that you love. And when you kind of take it in, contemplate it, look it over, it might be a course of 7 days, it might be 2 hours. All of a sudden, things will start popping in your head of, oh my God, I can do this. I can do that. This is something that I would love. And it can be either for your work, for your job, or it might be a hobby or something that you do in addition to whatever your work is. Because that's going to lift you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And I love that because as we get away from focusing on what we don't want, it is not that difficult to think about what our superpowers are. Imagine yourself in a meeting or on a project or at a volunteer opportunity, whatever that may be. There's always something that you seem to be able to do as well or better than anyone else in that room. And those are your superpowers.
Yes.
And that's a very positive thing to consider. Yes.
We all have our gifts and talents, every single one of us.
Absolutely.
When was the last time you were laughing and having fun? What were you doing?
Yes. Yes. And it's nice to create that scenario about laughing because I think we don't have enough of that in the workplace, right? And everyone should be able to make some human connection with another person in terms of joy and laughter. I love that. What a wonderful exercise. Very positive. And anyone could start doing that right now.
Yes. Yes.
Very
It's a lot more powerful than it sounds.
Oh, it sounds very powerful to me. I think as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to start sketching that out. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Gary and Victoria. I so appreciate you sharing your wisdom today, and I look forward to continuing to work with you and sharing your insights with our audience. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.